Picture yourself 3 months into a relationship. It felt, maybe, like finally coming home. You opened up, shared things you hadn't in years. You actually felt seen.
Mm-hmm. That feeling of
Yeah.
connection.
And then something shifts. It's subtle at first, but suddenly you're lying there, maybe late at night, scrolling through old texts.
Oh, yeah. The archaeology of anxiety.
Totally. Analyzing timestamps, the emojis, word choices, looking for that moment, the exact point where they start to pull away.
And your body knows before your mind admits it.
Exactly. Your chest gets tight, your stomach is just turning, you're telling yourself, stop it, you're being paranoid, just trust them. But you can't. You just can't stop.
The spiral starts.
You whisper, it's fine, but your breath is all shallow, your hands are gripping your phone like a lifeline. And deep down, there's this cold dread because you've done it again.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
Disappeared. Shrunk yourself down into whatever shape you think they want now.
It's a painful recognition. But what if? What if that feeling, that whole spiral, isn't paranoia? What if it's actually your body showing you something really profound, something you've maybe done your whole life?
Like a biological alarm bell.
Yes. That urge to fix things, that desperate scramble to accommodate, that awful feeling like you're just dissolving. What if that's information?
Well, that's exactly what we're exploring today. Welcome back to the Selfie Seeker Deep Dive. We're continuing our journey through Helen Mudiba's pathway to sovereignty.
We've talked before about how many of us really want to thrive in love, to feel that deep connection, but we often find ourselves stuck in patterns of survival or just stability, repeating things we don't even fully understand.
And today, we're diving deep into 6 ways we lose ourselves in relationships and the one path back. The core idea here, and this is crucial, isn't really about finding the right person.
Right. It shifts the focus.
It does. It's about recognizing which version of you shows up when love starts to feel uncertain or shaky. Which archetype, which pattern takes the wheel.
Because we all carry these invisible blueprints, don't we? Sketched out way back in our first relationships, our families.
Absolutely. Blueprints that taught us, often unconsciously, how to earn affection, how to get our needs met, and maybe most powerfully, how to avoid the terrifying feeling of abandonment.
And those blueprints map onto the 6 stages Mudiba outlines in the pathway.
Exactly. The stages are survival, then stability, moving into self-awareness, then the really hard work of integrity, reaching for wholeness, and ultimately finding freedom.
So as you're listening today, maybe hold this question gently. Which archetype am I operating from right now? Or which one comes up most often when things feel tough in relationships?
Are you the fixer? That's the survival stage archetype, the one who believes deep down that love has to be earned through constant effort, through pleasing, through, well, fixing.
Or maybe you're the planner, operating from stability, trying to control everything, architect certainty, manage the relationship almost like a project to prevent anything from going wrong.
Or perhaps you resonate with the seeker. This is the self-awareness stage. You see the patterns, you can name them, analyze them, maybe even talk about them brilliantly.
Huh.
But you feel stuck, unable to actually change the behavior.
It's powerful just to name them.
It is. And we're going to anchor these stages, these archetypes, in the stories of 3 people. They're composites, but their struggles will likely feel very familiar.
Let's meet them.
There's Maya. She felt like she'd done all the work, therapy, books, the whole deal, but completely lost herself again when her new partner started getting distant.
Okay.
Then there's James. He's the steady, reliable one, the one who believes love is about effort and showing up. He struggles to understand why just relaxing feels utterly impossible for him.
The constant manager?
Kind of, yeah. And finally, Elena. Elena is incredibly self-aware. She can mat every trigger, name every pattern from her past, but she found herself staying in a painful relationship for 3 years too long.
Wow. Okay, these sound familiar.
They often do. And it's so easy to label these patterns, right? We might call Maya needy or James controlling or Elena weak.
Society loves labels.
It does. But here's the crucial reframe. What if these patterns aren't evidence that they're broken? What if instead they're signs of intelligence at work?
Intelligence? How so? That feels counterintuitive when they cause so much pain.
Because they were brilliant strategies developed in childhood. They were ways to survive, to cope, to maintain connection in their earliest, most dependent relationships. They worked back then.
Okay, let's unpack that. That intelligence. Why do we keep losing ourselves in these ways if we're adults now? Is it just habit?
It's deeper than habit. It's
Good.
physiology. The moment uncertainty hits in a relationship that matters, our nervous system often defaults back to those old survival modes. It perceives a threat. even if it's just emotional distance.
And boom, the old program runs.
Exactly. And this leads us to what Mudiba calls the safety paradox. It's a game changer. You don't keep losing yourself because you're flawed or broken. You keep losing yourself because, in a way, you're brilliant.
Okay, wait, hold on. Brilliant. That sounds like you're letting us off the hook for behavior that feels really destructive sometimes.
My obsession with predicting my partner's mood, my need to please, that's brilliance.
It's the brilliance of your survival system. Think back. When you were little, completely dependent, your nervous system acted like a genius detective and had one job.
Yeah.
Keep the primary caregiver close.
Ensure survival.
Right, attachment.
Yes. And it figured out precisely what worked in your specific environment. Did you need to be helpful, useful? Did you need to be quiet, invisible? Did you need to manage their emotions for them?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Your system learned those rules. It encoded them deeply, automatically. Be this way, and you stay safe. Be this way, and love stays close. And the thing is,
Yeah.
it worked. You're here. You survived.
So the strategy was successful back then.
Immensely successful. But the problem is, your nervous system hasn't necessarily gotten the memo that the war is over, that you're an adult now, not a dependent child.
So the current partner, they're not really the one triggering it.
They're triggering the memory. They become the stand-in for that original dynamic, the original. Let's call them the casting director, who first made you believe that love was conditional or scarce or something you had to constantly earn or manage.
Wow, so the pattern isn't proof of my failure now.
It's proof of your survival mechanism activating. It senses a familiar threat, potential withdrawal, disapproval, abandonment, and it deploys the old, reliable strategy.
That is both terrifying and kind of liberating. Terrifying because it feels so automatic, but liberating because it's not about inherent brokenness.
Precisely. And it means the real work isn't about fixing yourself. It's about gently, patiently updating your nervous system's definition of safety.
Teaching it that we don't have to perform to be chosen anymore, that we can be loved even when we're imperfect.
That's the path. And Maya's story really shows us the whole arc, from the depths of survival all the way to freedom.
Okay, let's follow Maya. So Daniel starts pulling away. Maybe he's busy, stressed. Who knows? But Maya feels it.
Instantly, that familiar tightening in her chest. Her body goes straight into survival mode, and her archetype, the fixer, takes over.
So what does the fixer do?
She starts scanning his texts obsessively, replaying conversations in her head, looking for clues for what she did wrong. She becomes smaller, sweeter, performs this exaggerated lightness and ease.
While paddling furiously underneath the surface.
Exactly. Secretly, desperately trying to earn his love back, trying to be the perfect, easy girlfriend she thinks he wants.
God, that's exhausting just hearing it. So the fixing doesn't work, presumably. What happens next? Does she just give up?
Not initially. Often, when the survival strategy doesn't work, we double down and shift into stability. We try to manage the situation instead of just reacting.
Ah, so she becomes the planner.
Precisely. She swaps the desperate pleading energy for meticulous management.
What does that look like for Maya?
Making lists, reading every article, every book on attachment theory, rehearsing the perfect, non-needy text to send him, trying to engineer the outcome, you know.
Turning love into a project she can control and master. Oh, I recognize that one too.
Many of us do. But the insight for Maya came when she realized why she was planning so meticulously. It wasn't really about finding the right strategy. It was driven by this crushing fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of having to actually feel how much it hurt. Fear of admitting deep down that she couldn't make him choose her no matter how perfectly she planned.
That's a tough realization, that powerlessness.
It is. And that painful recognition is what finally propelled her into the next stage. Self-awareness.
The seeker stage.
Yes, where she had this devastating moment of clarity, realizing this wasn't just about Daniel. This was the same desperate choreography she'd performed with.
Let's see, 4 different men over the past decade.
Seeing the pattern repeat, that's brutal.
It is. She describes this pivotal moment, what she calls the grocery store moment.
She was in the checkout line feeling frantic inside, but trying to look calm, and she saw another woman on her phone nearby. And this woman was doing the same thing, performing that "everything's fine, I'm totally okay" voice, while gripping her shopping cart so hard her knuckles were literally white.
Wow. She saw herself.
She saw her own white-knuckled grip reflected back at her. And in that moment, she realized the extent of the lie she'd been living. Not just lying to others, but lying to herself for a decade, pretending she was fine when she was terrified.
That awareness, what did it change? Did she immediately stop?
Not immediately stop the feeling, but it created distance. It gave her the capacity to observe herself. She can notice the urge, watch herself reaching for the old strategy. Oh, there I go again, trying to fix my way into being chosen, without automatically acting on it every single time.
That space between impulse and action, that's huge.
It's the beginning of choice. And that growing capacity led her into the next stage, integrity.
Okay, integrity. What does that look like in action?
For Maya, it meant choosing truth over terror, even when it felt incredibly risky. She sat in Daniel's car one day, heart pounding, and spoke from her core. She said something like, "I've been trying so hard to be the person I think you want that I've completely lost myself in the process."
Wow. That takes courage. Did it fix things with Daniel?
Well, this is where it gets messy. Because integrity isn't about achieving a specific outcome. It's about aligning your actions with your inner truth. And honestly, it didn't magically fix things.
Ah, reality check.
Big time. In fact, about 3 weeks later, honesty hadn't worked fast enough for her terrified inner system. So she backslid. Big
What
time.
did you do?
She went to a party, saw an ex, and deliberately tried to manufacture jealousy, hoping to jolt Daniel into action. The old manipulation tactic,
Oh, Maya. That's so human, though.
isn't it? But here's the crucial part about integrity at this stage. It wasn't about not messing up. The new level of integrity was about owning the mess up.
No.
She actually told Daniel what she had done, why she'd done it. She owned the ugly, manipulative part of herself that desperation had dredged up. Learning that integrity includes acknowledging our flaws, our slip-ups, without collapsing into shame.
Okay, so it's not perfection, it's honest imperfection.
Exactly. And practicing that messy integrity slowly over the next few months helped her reach the next stage.
Wholeness. Wholeness, what does that feel like?
For Maya, it was this growing, quiet realization, a radical acceptance that her fundamental worthiness wasn't actually dependent on whether Daniel chose her or not.
That's profound.
It is. She began to trust her own discernment. She realized calmly that the relationship as it was couldn't actually hold what she truly needed to feel safe and seen. And she made the decision to leave.
And the difference was?
She left without losing herself this time. She felt sadness, grief, yes, but not that terrifying sense of dissolving. That ability to discern and act from her own center was wholeness.
So leaving was the act of wholeness, not failure.
Precisely. But the story doesn't end there. Her true freedom moment, the final stage, actually came about 2 years later.
With someone new.
Yes, with someone new, Alex.
Yeah.
They'd been dating a few months, things felt good, easy, and then Alex canceled the date last minute.
Uh-oh. Trigger alert.
Big time. Maya felt that old, familiar panic rise instantly. The fear of abandonment, the urge to analyze, to fix, to accommodate.
Why?
But this time was different. She recognized the feeling. She felt the panic surge in her body, acknowledged it. Ah, there's that old fear. Let it move through her without letting it take the wheel.
And what did you do?
She took a breath. And she texted back something simple and true. Like, okay, no problem. Let me know when it might work next week.
Wow. No drama, no fixing, no pretending.
None. She still felt the fear flicker, but she chose her own grounded truth anyway. That capacity to feel the old fear but act from her present-day wholeness, that is sovereignty realized. That's freedom.
That's an incredible journey. And it gives so much hope. But let's be real, that full arc, it takes time and effort. And a lot of us, myself included, can feel stuck much earlier on that path.
Absolutely. Maya's story is the map, maybe the aspiration.
Mm.
But the lived reality for many is stalling out, often circling between stability and self-awareness, or getting stuck trying to maintain integrity.
So where do people typically get stuck? Let's talk about James.
Yes, James is a great example of someone struggling to sustain integrity. He's the anticipator, remember. He never felt like he lost himself in the way Maya did. His strategy wasn't shrinking, it was managing.
Right, anticipatory survival, taking care of everything to prevent problems before they even surface.
Exactly. He operated solidly from stability for years. He was the ultimate planner, scheduling relationship check-ins, managing finances with spreadsheets, trying to make the relationship with his partner, Rachel, work through sheer force of will and organization.
Trying to control the uncontrollable.
Until Rachel finally voiced the necessary, painful truth. She said something like, "James, I love you, but please, stop performing this perfect partner thing and just, I don't know, be real with me."
Ouch. That must have been hard to hear for someone whose identity is built on being reliable and capable.
Devastating. But it cracked him open. He started to see how his constant planning was a way to manage his own anxiety, not just care for her. He could actually reach integrity sometimes.
How so?
In a crisis, or when things got really tough, He could drop the performance. He could admit his fear, let himself be messy, be truly honest about his struggles. He had moments of real connection with Rachel then.
So what's the stuck point? Why couldn't he stay there?
Because, as Mundiba puts it, he tended to abandon integrity in the calm. As soon as things felt good or stable again, the anxiety would creep back in.
Yeah, the fear that the good times won't last unless he manages them.
Exactly. He couldn't relax into the joy. He'd start subtly micromanaging again, planning the perfect date night, anticipating Rachel's needs before she voiced them, trying to hold everything perfectly in place because deep down he believed if he stopped, it would all fall apart.
That sounds utterly exhausting, living with that constant vigilance.
It is. And 3 years after that initial breakthrough, James is still working on it. He's learning to trust that connection can exist without his constant management. He's learning, importantly, that you don't have to reach full freedom to have a good life, a connected relationship, but you do need to work on releasing that constant need to control safety.
That's a really important point. Progress, not perfection. What about Elena? Where does she illustrate getting stuck?
Elena represents perhaps the most common and sometimes most painful stuck point. The seeker who gets caught at the level of self-awareness.
The one who sees it all clearly.
Crystal clearly. Elena could give a masterclass on her own attachment patterns. She could name every trigger, trace it back to her childhood, quote, the relevant theorists. Her friends probably thought she was incredibly healed because she could articulate her patterns so eloquently.
But insight isn't always enough, is it?
It's often not. Because despite all that brilliant self-awareness, Elena stayed in a relationship with Marcus one, where she consistently swallowed her own needs and felt unseen for 3 long years after she recognized the dynamic was hurting her.
Why? If she saw it so clearly.
Because, as she eventually realized, the cage of the relationship, however painful, felt familiar. The patterns were known. Freedom, on the other hand, leaving, being alone, navigating the unknown, felt utterly terrifying.
The devil you know.
Exactly. Her story illustrates a profound paradox.
Oh.
Sometimes, seeing the bars of the cage very clearly doesn't automatically give you the strength or the courage to walk out the door. Not right away.
That feels incredibly validating for anyone who feels stuck knowing better but not doing better yet.
It is. And that's the crucial takeaway from these stuck points. Sometimes, the bravest, most compassionate thing you can do is admit to yourself, I see the pattern, I know this isn't working, and I'm not ready to change it yet.
Permission to be where you are.
Yes. You might be firmly in self-awareness, seeing it all, but you can choose self-grace over harsh self-judgment while you slowly build the capacity, the inner resources, the support system you need to eventually move towards integrity. It's okay to not be ready yet.
Okay, so we have Maya's full journey, James's struggle with sustaining integrity, Elena's courage in just seeing the cage. What does this all boil down to? What is the actual practice of sovereignty that unites all these experiences? What's the one path back?
It starts with that fundamental acceptance. The brilliant, intelligent strategies that kept you safe as a child, the fixing, the planning, the disappearing, are likely not the ones that will set you free and allow you to thrive as an adult.
So letting go of those old strategies.
Gently, yes. And understanding what sovereignty truly is. It's not about fierce independence or never needing anyone. That's often just another form of armor.
Right. It's not about pushing love away.
No. Sovereignty, in this context, is the quiet, sometimes radical act of remaining whole, connected to yourself, your needs, your truth, while loving deeply, while being in connection.
Remaining whole while loving deeply. Okay. How do we practice that? What does it look like day to day?
The practice is deceptively simple, but challenging. It starts with recognition. Noticing the exact moment you feel yourself starting to disappear, starting to perform, starting to manage or fix.
Catching yourself in the act.
Yes. Recognizing the old blueprint activating. And then instead of criticizing yourself, you meet it with a little curiosity, maybe even gratitude. Ah, there's that old pattern. Thank you for trying to keep me safe.
Acknowledging its original positive intention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then in that space you've created, you make a small, gentle choice towards authenticity, towards your truth in that moment, rather than the performance or the accommodation. It might be saying no softly. It might be stating a need simply. It might just be breathing through the urge to fix.
Gently and repeatedly.
Gently and repeatedly. And really knowing that growth here is cyclical, not linear. You will backslide. You'll slip back into the old patterns.
Like Maya trying to make Daniel jealous.
Or like James getting caught in resentment when his planning feels unappreciated. Those moments aren't failures. They are part of the work. They are the necessary returning, the refinement.
The work is the returning.
It really is. And ultimately, sovereignty is about building trust. Trusting deep in your bones that your worthiness is inherent. It's not conditional on being chosen by this specific person.
Trusting you can survive even if the relationship ends.
Yes. And trusting that you can actually open your heart, risk connection, without inevitably losing yourself entirely in the process.
That feels like the core of it. Trusting you can stay anchored to yourself even while reaching for another.
That's the heart of sovereignty and love.
So for everyone listening, just know you are enough right now. Even when you feel yourself slipping, even when you lose yourself temporarily. If you're even hearing this, you're on the staircase. You're engaging with this process, whether you realize it fully or not.
Mm-hmm. Every time you notice the pattern, every time you choose presence over panic, even for a moment, you are climbing. Not away from love, but towards a more authentic, sustainable kind.
Towards the real kind.
And maybe the final thought to sit with is this. Your relationship patterns, the ways you lose yourself, they aren't random. They reveal precisely where and how you learned to keep love close when you felt vulnerable. And even more importantly, they reveal exactly where you are now ready, perhaps longing, to redefine safety, to write a new definition based on your adult capacity, not your childhood strategies.
Yeah.
That recognition, that's the beginning of the path home to yourself.
That's powerful. And if you're listening and wondering, okay, which archetype am I right now? Am I the fixer, the planner, the seeker? Where am I on this pathway?
We wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, so we've actually put together a free resource based on Helen Modiba's framework. It's called the Pathway to Sovereignty Guide.
It helps you pinpoint things.
It does. It offers the one key question that can really illuminate which stage, and therefore which archetype, you might be predominantly operating from right now.
And it's not just intellectual.
No, definitely not. It also includes a short guided meditation. It's designed to help you bypass the mind stories for a moment and actually listen to what your body, your nervous system already knows about these patterns.
Because the body keeps the score, as they say.
It really does. The goal is simply clarity. Because sovereignty, finding that path back to yourself within love, it really begins with seeing clearly, maybe for the first time, what you've actually been doing all along.
See it without judgment, just with awareness. That's the starting line.
Welcome back to yourself, even and especially in love.
Climb the staircase, breath by breath, with compassion and presence we rise from stress, from fear to peace, from shame to grace. Climb the staircase to sovereignty. When you feel unsafe, too much to bear, you shut down or flare, you vanish or glare, your heart beats fast, your breath runs tight, you just want out or to make it right.